Hello, this is Hui. Welcome to watch my video, C++ Programming on Linux. In the previous video, we have demonstrated how to send HTTP GET request to the web service. In this short video, we are going to continue demonstrate how to send GET request with query. This is one of a previous video. The example, we have a line editor, which we put the URL to pointer the web service, and we click request, send the GET request to the web service, and we are going to display the response back on this plain text editor. So in order to send a query, we added another tool, line editor, and the query should be the key value pair. So we have our web service we're going to test for this request is from one of previous video. It's Query MongoDB through web service. In that web service, we receive two query. It's a parameter which is gender, value, level, and the value. So in order to be able to send a query through request, we have to include a header file called QtUrlQuery. So in previous video, we have to include the network access manager, network request, which network reply is the response back from the network request, and the URL is the pointer. Today we are going to include one more called QtUrlQuery. So what QtUrlQuery does, the QtUrlQuery class provides a way to manipulate a key value pair in the URL query. So which we create a key value pair in our URL query. So in our program, in previous video, we have instantialized Q network manager, which called my manager, and this my manager has a signal called finished. So we are going to signal finished when the reply finished, and we are going to run the slot function called reply finished. And what we do, we first instantialize my URL, which is the object of my URL, and the URL comes from the line editor, which we input from our dialog, and we create a request, which uses my URL and the query request. Then we use my manager get method to send a request to my network access manager, which is my web service, and the reply back is called my reply, and we just set up 3 seconds for waiting reply back finished. So once finished, and the trigger is signal, and the trigger is a slot function called reply finished. Then what we do, we read all from my reply and append to my plain text editor. So today we introduce a query called QtUrlQuery. So what we name it, called my query. So we have two query parameters, right? It's if UI line editor 2, which we introduced today, and text, and we use $length greater than 0. It means we have something in our query has value. So what we do, we go to my query dot add query items. So query item is key value. So Q string. So what is the key is gender is gender, and the Q string. So what the value is from the UI line editor tool. Text. And same thing, we made for the line editor 3. If this is greater than 0, we'll set up the value, key value is added to the query item. So this is level, it's not a gender. So line editor 2 is a gender, and the line editor 3 is level. And after that, and add to my URL dot in the set, there's a method called set query. And what the query is? My query. Then we send the request, we're waiting, and we trigger, we just display the response back. So now let's try to save the building. Great. Let's check if our web service is up. So our web service is HTTP from preview video, code 192.168.1.0.1.7. That's my Linux server. It's home network address, and the port number is 1234, and the resource code player. Let's try see. So it's a web service is on. So now let's run. So here is our dialog. So what the web service is http://192.168.0.1.07. Port number is 1234. Resource is a player. And let's see, send a request. So okay, so we don't have any query. We got all 3 requests, which my Mongo database has only 3. So we have one of male, 2 male. So let's say I put a gender male, and we send a request. So we got 2 record come back. So if there's 2 male record, we have 1 intermediate and another one is a beginner. So let's say our second key value is intermediate. So let's click a request. So we got 1 record come back from our web service. Okay, there's another very useful web service for testing. It's public and free, so called https://http://bin.org. Somebody volunteer made this very great, so help. So this web service, you send a request, they respond back with the header. So let's try to see how to send a request. So this we send a request, they respond back with the header, which so you can see our query is under the object of argument. So and so this is the query string. This is the part called a query string when we create a query. So if they can see from this Q document and the QtUrlQuery, and here has displayed. This is the URL, and this is the query string, which when you send a request. Hello, this is Hui. Thanks to watch my video. Hopeful it's useful, enjoyable. It's going to be great to have your feedback. Thank you.